Toyota Tundra reliable? That's a question I've been asked over 15 years of really covering the truck. Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and that question has never been more prevalent with the problems happening to the third gen Toyota Tundra coming out in 2022 through 2026 model year now. And I wrote an article on pickuptrucktalk.com, and I want to go over my thoughts on this because I've covered it. Man, I used to run Tundra headquarters. I've covered that truck extensively over there. So I got my start in a career. I did the Million Mile Tundra, right? Vic Shepard's Tundra. I broke that story. I did his friend or Aaron Morvant's second Million Mile Tundra. I did Vic Shepard's third Million Mile Tundra. I flew to Japan, talked to engineers over there. I've talked to mechanics. Yeah, Car Care Nut, the big guy here on YouTube, does stuff. I talked to him about the Toyota Tundra reliability. I have interviewed numerous mechanics, numerous engineers, talked to engineers, different companies about Toyota Tundra. So I know a few things about the Tundra, and I've owned two of them as well. So I have some thoughts after all of this recall stuff is kind of cloudiness has kind of gone away, and now we have probably the clearest picture that I think we ever could have what's going on with this truck. So let's check out the story. It's from the website. We have a lot of stuff going on over there these days. You guys are eating up these articles. There is just a ton. So let's talk about what's going on here on the homepage. Is the third gen Toyota Tundra reliable? This is what I've learned after 15 years. Give that 15 years of covering this truck. And yes, I've covered all the other trucks too, Ford, GM, Chevys, Rams. I've owned them all, or I've reported on them over the years. But I want to go through this story, and I'm going to talk you through like my thinking on this and what I got to the conclusion on this. So let's first talk about why Toyota's engine problem shocked me. Initially, I was like, what's going on here? And I couldn't believe it. It was kind of unbelievable to me as somebody who's covered this truck so often. And I got some hate from that. People were like, you're a Toyota fanboy. You're sucking up to Toyota and you're getting paid because of this. And I just was initially pretty shocked because if you know about Toyota's processes and how they've done things for the last several decades, I never saw this coming. I just didn't see it coming. And I think a lot of Toyota fans also didn't see it coming. So I'm not going to take a whole lot of blame on this because I think a lot of people were really shocked. And I think if you watch some of the owner review videos on this, they're like, what's going on? I bought this truck and now I have this problem. What? They never anticipated this. And so I think that got a lot of people shocked by this. And so I think I was shocked. People were shocked by this. If you, like I said, if you know about the Tundra headquarters I used to run, you know about Million Mile trucks and stuff I've covered, you're kind of shocked. It's like you didn't anticipate this coming from that brand. That's what they built the reliability on. QDR, quality, reliability, durability. Yeah, that was Tundra. And so, wow, that's a shock. So now we've had multiple recalls, 3, and then we have the best thing ever. I love this stuff. Chronology reports that break down actually what the engineering team found. Now, you can argue what you will about what they found and whether you agree with it or not, but it's great to actually get their full explanation. The full explanation, not just what people have cherry picked here and there. Now, what people have just said, oh, yeah, I don't believe in that one part. No. Let's get the full explanation. I want to make sure I get this in the video. So we understand the recalls, understand what's going on, understand, yes, machining debris, aka swarf, aka also known as machining debris, aka swarf, and also known as the most common thing ever in manufacturing. It happens all the time. One thing I've learned the last 4 or 5 years, it's very common. There's nothing weird about this, nothing strange about this. Now, you'd think they'd be able to get it out of the manufacturing process better like everybody else has, but it's not abnormal. It's not weird that there's machining debris. The volume of debris is questionable, but it's not, machining debris by itself is not weird. Let's just be clear on that. And machining debris happens. That's why there is an oil filter in the vehicle anyways. That's why it exists for debris when the engine has metal shavings, okay? And there is some argument about light oils. Lightweight oils have caused some of these concerns. And yes, there's arguments on oil types and oil intervals, and I get all that stuff, but I will tell you that even the guys I know that have done 2,000 mile oil changes, 5,000 mile oil changes, they've done heavyweight oils, still hasn't fixed the problem. So don't think that you're smarter than everybody else just by doing that stuff, because I've seen those engines go down. Okay? You get just a lot of problems from the factory. You can't always fix those problems after you get the truck. So that's what's going on. They found this stuff. They found a period of time where they produced excessive machine debris. They improved their manufacturing processes, which is, I think that's really shocking, right? So Toyota isn't new to building engines, right? This isn't new. They built engines for vehicles sold globally for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades and decades. So really, what the hell, Toyota? You've done this for decades. Like that's a little bizarre. That's what I find bizarre. Like they've been doing this for decades. And then why is it that it's only this particular engine? Why doesn't Tacoma? Why doesn't the Camry engine? Why doesn't the Sienna's engine? Yeah, the Sequoia and the Tundra hybrid aren't recalled, and that's a little wonky as well. But why isn't like the Camry or Corolla? Why in the comments of these videos, why aren't you guys asking that question? I've read all these comments. I've seen the people on Facebook talk about this stuff, and you guys are so like truck, 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 truck. But nobody's asking saying stuff like going, why is the Camry not failing? Camry's got a brand new powertrain. So why is it only the manufacturing processes for the Tundra 3.4 liter V6? That's surprising. Now, Toyota has come out and said very strongly that the changes to number one main bearing changed everything. Okay, they made it stronger. And I showed you this in a camera. I have a number one main bearing. I've been trying to get it analyzed, and that's been a freaking nightmare. But basically, they said they studied a couple things. The strength, number one main bearing, and this is the part that I kind of saw, and I made it a little bit in the video about. I'm going to make a stronger part about this. They studied the cam housing clearance change and its effect on bearing pressure. So it wasn't just that they improved the number one main bearing, which is Toyota PR was like, yeah, they really got mad at me actually in my last video, and they emailed me. I think they're kind of pissed off about it, but they studied the cam housing clearance change, so they did make a design change. So people have said it's design flaw, Tim. Well, why did people miss that part of the chronology report? I've not seen that in the comments anywhere. Where's that been at in the comments? They made a change in the cam housing clearance change. So somehow they made a design change and manufacturing processing change and main bearing change, and they bench tested those changes with the supplier to make sure that that could hold up to any debris in the engine. Because they can't eliminate all the debris because, again, debris, swarf, is part of every manufacturing process, every engine on the planet. My understanding, talking to many people, reading many documents. So they did this stuff. So they found that after they improved main bearing, they continue to monitor the effectiveness of the improvement. This gets people really fired up. So if they fix the problem, why do they continue to monitor the effectiveness? That's just a Toyota thing. It's the Toyota way, right? They're always this Kaizen. They're always working to improve the process. So they could build the most reliable engine in the world, right? And they'll always monitor to make it better. It's Kaizen. It's the internal. It's the not internal, but the always searching for improvements. Okay. Now they went on to say that there's possibility of engine debris still there, not being cleared. They're still working on that. What I think is interesting is a couple things that's still on this is that they said that the new recall still has produced additional controls for removing manufacturing debris, that they found the remaining debris to be sufficient to cause damage to number one bearing, lead to this issue. But they have found the number one bearing to be strong enough to not fail. And then number one bearing doesn't fail, it's still is going to survive. People asked in the comments, why is it only number one main bearing? Why is it not other main bearings? Why is it not the upper bearings? Whatever. We said upper bearings. I don't know about all that kind of stuff. I'm just a journalist. You guys can play mechanic. You guys play engine design. I don't design engines. I don't work on them. I report what I know. What I do find really fascinating about this last recall is if you read the documents, the remedy is yet to be determined. So that's ridiculous. Like they should have that remedy is figured out by now because they did the other two. The other two, they replaced engines. And then they came to me and they said, hey, those engines replaced after this date, which I found the answer to. I emailed them. I said, what's the date? The date is July 2024. The engines after July 2024 and the replacement engines have the new number one main bearing. So they should be good. Well, why isn't the third recall for those additional 40,000 Tundras? Those should be good with replacement engines. if you did that for that 2 recalls. That's the part that confuses me. That's the what's going on Toyota. But so I think that should be solved. That communication should be settled. If you are going to recall 2 major recalls, replace those engines with new main bearings, new processes, new cam housing clearance changes, bench test, whole thing. Good. This 3rd recall, you delay for a couple months because you weren't ready to release a full remedy yet. What? Nah, not buying that one. That's the one that got me confused. So I'll be waiting to see what happens with that. Now, based on Toyota's own statements, late production 2024 trucks, along with 2025 2026 models, should have the improved bearing design. The changeover 2024 2025 started the second week of September 2024. So it depends when your 2024 truck was built. It also means replacement engines should have, after that point, should have a revised main bearing. So what about these 2025 and 2026 and replacement trucks, engine trucks, blowing up, right? I see these in the comments all the time. Well, just blowing up. I wrote this story. A guy on my TikTok immediately said, yeah, my 26 blew up at 14,000 miles. What about those guys, right? What about that? We know what 2025 blew up. I'm on tundras.com, the forum over there, and I talked to the guy. And there's a guy on YouTube did a video on this guy, and his truck blew up. We don't know if that was because of the failure of the recall. We don't know that. Jumped the gun doing the video because we don't know the actual fault. We just know it blew up. So until we get confirmation it was the number one main bearing that failed or something catastrophic happened, I'm still waiting to see what happens. I want to know what the news is. Because if you've spent any time on social media, you know that's an echo chamber. If you hear one guy, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, best friends from high school whose buddy owns a shop and his truck failed, that means there's 10 more guys just like that guy who had the same problem, right? Because that's how social media works. And again, 15 years doing this, I hear it all the time. But let's slow down for a minute because we were like, replacement engines are failing too. Toyota is lying. Toyota says they fixed it. 2025 is still blowing up. This is all garbage. Slow down. Last time I counted, we had the one 2025. I asked on the forum if anybody else heard him. They said maybe there's 2 or 3 more. They couldn't confirm that. I asked some people in the know if they could find information. They still haven't got back to me. I heard the one 2026 on TikTok. Do you get what I'm getting at here? I'm trying to find 1s and 2s at this point. I'm not trying to find thousands. This was what happened in the 2022, 2023, 24 model years. I'm trying to find the 1s and 2s and 3s. And I get people that comment on my posts on social media, and they're mechanics. They say, yeah, we had 10 in the shop yesterday, Tim. You know what I'm talking about. And I reply back. I'm like, so you had 10 2025s? I'm like, well, we think they're 2025s. They could be 2024s. I'm like, did they all fail? No, they're under recalls. So you could have a recall, get replacement engine, but your engine didn't fail. So where's the truth here? That's the problem. That's a weird part of social media, is trying to get the actual number of what the truth is. But I will tell you something. During all the years I've done this job, I've learned one simple truth. If you build something and it's mechanical and it has parts on it, mechanical parts, the odds are it will fail. Just saying. And if you build 100,000 of these mechanical things that have mechanical parts on it, you will have a failure rate. You're going to have to. You're going to. It's just going to happen. Parts do fail. You could have the best engine mechanic in the world. The guy's building parts out of gold-plated parts. He'll build 500,000 engines, and you will have 5% of those fail. Parts just fail. Just happen. I'm going to say a very uncomfortable truth for a lot of people out there. And I'm sorry to say this, but very uncomfortable truth. When I ran TundraHeadquarters.com, we had 5.7 liter V8 engines that failed. We did. I did stories on it. People will tell you, and I see these car salesmen all the time and people in the comments, that the 5.7 liter V8 never failed. It was bulletproof. Buy this truck, lasts forever. It's bulletproof. There were times that engine failed. I know. Now, the number of times it failed, the volume of times it failed was low. That is the real trick here. We're talking about volume. Toyota sells like 200,000 Tundras a year. The volume of trucks they build is 200,000. They're going to have a certain percentage of those are going to fail. That's why they have warranties. That's why they have powertrain warranties. Typically, engines fail in the first 5 years. A bad part will go out, something will fail. That's why they replace those. That's what typically happens. I know people will say, no, Tim. It fails at year 5 years and 1 day, or it fails at 62,000 miles with a 60,000 mile warranty. I get it. I hear what you're saying. But typically, engines fail early on because a part fails. That's what I've seen time and time again. Now, I'm going to tell you right now. There will be 2026s that fail. There'll be 2027s that fail. There'll be 2028s that fail. There'll be 2029s that fail. There'll be 2030s that fail. There'll be 2031s that fail. 2032s that fail. 2033s that fail. 2024s that fail. 2025s. I think you get the point. There will be Tundras that fail. There'll be Tacomas that fail. There'll be Camrys that fail. There'll be Corollas that fail. I get it. They will fail. It's about volume. Based on the data today, the changes they've made, the things they've done, the volume of failures should be less. That's the reality of things. So is the third gen Tundra reliable? Should be more reliable today than what it was when it came out in 2022. That's the facts. They've made a lot of work to make it more reliable. Is it bulletproof? There's no engine that's bulletproof, guys. Out of those 3 million mile trucks I told you about, the Tundras, people forget this all the time. One was a 5.7 liter V8. Two were not. One was a 5.7 liter V8. I heard of another one. I think we actually had a third one the other day. I saw on Facebook, maybe last week, maybe something like that. But yeah, sorry. I understand people want to buy these trucks and they want them bulletproof. I get it. Trucks are expensive. I get that too. The reality of things is this, is that there is no such thing as a bulletproof piece of mechanical equipment. I don't care who builds it. Something can fail. A part can fail. That is the most common sense, practical viewpoint on that stuff. It's going to happen. I'm sorry, it's going to happen. And if that offends you, I apologize. But I've been around for a long time and I've seen a lot of comments, and a lot of people will say, this engine's bulletproof, never fails. And I guarantee I can go online and find a version of that engine they talked about that will fail. It's mechanical. Men build it, women build it. Parts fail. It happens. But I think, and I hope I'm right, that you guys will feel good about driving your Tundras around, and I'm not going to report on this anymore, and the problems are solved. I hope. Now, if it's not, I'm going to keep reporting on it, and I keep holding Toyota's feet to the fire for causing all these problems, because that's not cool. And I can't believe they screwed this up so badly, because they did. They really did. And I hope I don't get any more emails mad at me, but that's the honest truth. They really did mess this up. And I hope they're gonna fix all these problems. I know they're gonna stand behind the customer. They're gonna replace these engines. I know they're gonna do that, but I hope this just becomes a black eye in this third generation. Refresh comes out 2028. People will move on, and this becomes just part of the history of Toyota. And we look at that as the same thing as the unintended acceleration, the Tacoma frame debacle, that kind of stuff, and just goes in the rear view mirror. All right, there you go. For more, check out about videos over here. What's down below as well. PickupTruckTalk.com. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.